Let's bring in Nebraska Congressman Mike Flood, member of the House Financial Services Committee. Congressman, thanks for being with us. Look, it's clear California has an insurance crisis at the state level, but even with private insurers, they don't take in enough money to cover these losses. That cost is going to get passed on to U.S. taxpayers in the form of a bailout, perhaps. It's going to get passed on to people insured throughout the country who are going to see their premiums go up. You're on the House Financial Services Committee. Is there anything Congress needs to do about the broken system in California?
Well, I tell you what, this system has been broke for a long time. California's Department of Insurance hasn't allowed insurance companies to adequately price the risk. And as a result, you've had major insurance companies pull out of that state saying, we simply lose money. The insurance department is saying, no, you cannot raise your premiums. And the insurance companies are saying, wait a second, we're pricing the adequate risk here in an effort to make sure that this contract between the insured and the insured is actually worth something. This couldn't have happened at a worse time in California. Its insurance department is a disaster. And as the chairman of the Subcommittee on Housing and Insurance, I fear that after the fires are dealt with, we are going to deal with a problem that will compound itself over the next couple of months. This is a real problem.
Congressman, some ways that people are trying to solve that problem is federal aid. We did hear, though, from Speaker Johnson yesterday confirming that there are discussions about tying wildfire aid to the debt limit. There's also been some conversations of can you tie aid to policy changes in California so that this doesn't keep happening every 5 to 6 years. What are those conversations like?
Well, first and foremost, we want to take care of the people of California. Yeah. These are important folks. This is an important state. These are neighborhoods that have been ravaged, and they have dealt with real disaster. There's a genuine concern on the part of all members of Congress, regardless of party. I do think it is fair, though, to ask questions about forestry management, to say to the Department of Insurance in California, why are we in such a bad spot? There are people in my home state of Nebraska that are getting 60% premium increases because insurance companies are saying, hey, we've had way too much hail and tornadoes in the midsection of the United States. You're going to have to pay more to abate that risk. In California, the state government said, no, you cannot adequately price the risk. And now we have a bunch of homeowners with a policy that isn't worth the paper it's written on if they have a policy at all. Right.
Congressman, my understanding is that you recently went to Mar-a-Lago to talk to the president-elect, not only about what's happening at our southern border and how to rectify it, but also the state of taxes for the American people. Many are looking for those tax cuts to be extended, and they want to see it happen quickly. Can you share anything with us?
Well, the president is energized. He's on board. He is excited for the path that we take. He wants one big, beautiful bill, as you've heard him say before, and he is a listener. He was listening to all different perspectives on how we should stage this, because you're right. We have to deal with the border. We have to extend the Trump tax cuts, and we've got to radically cut spending while working for energy independence. There's some in the Senate that would say we should have two bills. I would say the general consensus, with some exceptions in the House, is that we need to have one. And then on top of it, the president's very focused on the CR expiration in mid-March, March 14th, and how are we going to deal with the debt ceiling at that time. So most of it is strategy. I think everybody in the conference agrees we are on the same page policy-wise, with some exceptions. How we stage this is important. And Speaker Johnson told us this morning, hey, here's the timeline. Here's where we need to go. We need to hit these benchmarks so that around Easter, we've got a plan that the American people can see passed into law.
Easter would be great timing on that, Congressman Mike Flood. Good to see you. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.